Hari Bol. We can start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Darati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hari Bol. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we continue Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9 and text 26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tat aham bhaktya upartam ashnami pratyatatmana. Patram, a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a fruit, toyam, water, yaha, whoever, me, unto me, bhaktya, with devotion, prayachati, offers, tat, that, aham, I, bhakti upartam, offered in devotion, ashnami, accept, prayata atmana, of one in pure consciousness. Translation: if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. So 4 things. Purport. Here Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then he should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. For thus meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requested that leaf, fruit, flowers, and water be given to him. And he says of this offering, I will accept it. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milks, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods. In the 3rd chapter, verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are said to be eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. But preparing nice simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture of deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body, and to create fine brain tissues, which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food, since he already possesses everything that be, yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is that to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To them, it is either a metaphor or a proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Gita. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This This point should be emphasized. Because of his absolute position, his hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it. Haribol. Okay, who wants to read next one?
I can read.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Hey, Prabhu. Okay, you can continue.
What karoshi you do, not whatever asnasi you eat, not whatever chukoshi you offer, tadasi you give away, not whatever tapasyasi austerities you perform, kaunteya, O son of Kunti, that purushma make mat unto me arpanam offering. Translation: O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. Purport: thus it is the duty of everyone to walk his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in his service. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together, and Krishna recommends herein one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live, therefore he should accept the remnants of the foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform religious and ritualistic ceremonies, therefore Krishna recommends, do it for me, and this is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it. This means that all the surplus money accumulated should be utilized further in the Krishna consciousness. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to meditation classes, which is not practical in these days. But if anyone practices meditating in Krishna 24 hours by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his feet, he is surely the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Do I read the next one or let someone else?
Haribol, you can read one more.
Okay, thank you. Shupa palai evam moksha se karma pandanai sanyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mam upaisyasi. Shupa good, ashupa evil, palai results, evam thus moksha yase free, karma action, bandhanai bondage, sanyasa renunciation, yoga the yoga, yukta atma having the mind firmly set, vimuktaha liberated, mama to me, upaisyasi you will attain. In this way you will be free from all reactions, good and evil, By this principle of renunciation, therefore, one who acts in Krishna consciousness superior directly called yukta. The technical term is yukta vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Rupa Goswami says that the moment we are in the material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called yukta vairagya. Actually situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind. And as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated, and his liberation is also identified. By this liberation, he does not become one with the possibility, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here, Ma Upaishyati, becomes me back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation, and here it is specified that because he was always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after leaving his body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no other interest but dedicate his life to service of the Lord is actually coming out. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs as service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the political activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed duties, actually it is not so. It is said therefore by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person can understand the exact words are Vaishnavera, the person who is not always in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord, completely liberated future. He's going home back to God is guaranteed. He's above all material. Just as Krishna is above with this.
Haribol, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to read text 29?
May I, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances all over Srila Prabhu.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhu. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi teshu shapehaham. Samoha, equally disposed. Aham, I, sarva bhuteshu, to all living entities. No one, me, mine. Dveshya, hateful. Asti, his, nor, priya, dear, ye, those, bhajanti, render transcendental service to, yet, mam, unto me, bhaktya, in devotion, may, unto me, yet such persons, teshu, in them, cha also, api, certainly, I. Translation 1. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. He is in me, and I am also a friend to him. One may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity in whatever form his son, and as such he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He is just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless whether it falls on rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendentally situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in the such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in him. The Lord says here distinctly, "Mayate in me," naturally has a result. The Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the words Astina Priyaha Ye Bhajanti. Whoever renders unto me proportionately, I take care of him. These transcendental reciprocations exist because both the Lord and the devotee are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entities internet. When a living entity becomes inclined into the service of the Supreme, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, and so this combination is very living entities in a poor state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the supreme and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desire tree, and whatever one wants from this tree, desired tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotion service of the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. May I continue another verse, bro? Thank you, bro. Apichet sudur sudarcharo bhajate mam anyaya bakha bahak sadhur eva sa man mantva mantvaya सम्यग व्यवस्थितो ही सः api in spite of chit, although suduracharah, one committing the most abominable actions, bhajate, engage in devotional service, mam unto me, anyaya, bahak, without deviation, sadhu, saint, who eva, certainly, saha, he, mantvanya, to be considered, samyak, samyak, completely, vyavastitha, situated, he, certainly, saha, he. Translation: even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotion service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. Purport: the word suduracharo used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has to okay. He has kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities even for the devotees in connection with the conditional life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides this, the living entity who is fully consciousness of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service, conditional service, condition in relation to the body will parallel one another, but then again sometimes these activities become opposite to one another as far as possible. A devotee is very caution caution so that he does not do anything that cloud despite his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord. That Lord begins situated within his heart, beautifies him, and excuses him the abom- from the abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such a occasional fall down is the one occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotion service is always a success. No one should dread a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For as in explained in the next verse, such occasional uh, occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with the determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if we by chance or accidental he is found to have fallen. The word sadhur eva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be dreaded. Oh, meaning of dreaded mean not be dreaded. Dreaded. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. The decision was decided by environmentalists. Hmm. Express contempt for ridiculous. I don't know. Meaning,
It means like making fun.
okay. Okay, okay. Should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly, even if he has fallen down accidentally. And the word man- mantvayah is still more emphatic if one does not follow these rules the and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then he is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. Next, the mark of a spot which may be seen on the moon does not become an impediment to the moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of a saintly character does not make him abominable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accidental due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusionary energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusionary energy, there may be accidental fall downs, but when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs. As previously explained, no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in this character by devotion service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee.
Yes,
Prabhu.
this end part is most important part of this. Because these
Yes,
devotees
Prabhu.
use this purport always, but they don't show this end part.
Yes, Prabhu. Last verse, last three lines are very important.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like they will, uh,
Yes,
like what we say that compromise, like taking this line,
yes,
it's
Prabhu.
like taking this verse, they will compromise all their like fall downs
Yes, Prabhu.
and doing repeatedly
Yeah.
like that.
Yes, Prabhu. This last part proves that the guru must be a high level devotee. He must be a pure devotee. And if someone falls down, then he cannot be guru. So this also proves that guru cannot fall
Yes,
down.
Prabhu.
Because if
Yes,
someone
Prabhu.
falls
That's also
down, then
right.
he's not a high devotee.
Yes, Prabhu. That's also right.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to
Thank you
read?
so much.
Hare Krishna, my Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, you can read.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to read, Prabhu.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
So, Shripam Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvat Shantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashati. This also?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, translation or word to word meaning?
A word to word also.
Okay. Shrip, Shripam, very soon. Bhavati becomes Dharmatma, righteous. Shashwat, Shantim, lasting peace. Nigachati, attains. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Pratijan, justly declare. Na, never. May, mine. Bhaktaha, devotee. Pranashchati, perishes. He quickly become righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Haribol. This should this should not be misunderstood. In the seventh chapter, the Lord says that one who is engaged in mischievous activities cannot become a devotee of the Lord. one who is not a devotee of the Lord, can you please scroll down, bro? Of the Lord has no good qualification whatsoever. The question remains, then how can a person engage in abominable activities, either by accident or intention, be a pure devotee? This question may justly be raised. The miscreants, as stated in the seventh chapter, who never come to the devotional service of the Lord, has no good qualification, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, a devotee who is engaged in the nine kind of devotional activities is engaged in the process of cleansing all material contamination from the heart. He puts the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, and all sinful contaminations are naturally washed away. Continuously thinking of the Supreme Lord makes him pure by nature. According to the Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic process to purify himself. But here there is no such condition because the purifying process is already there in the heart of a devotee due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage. This will protect a devotee from all accidental fall downs. He will thus remain perpetually free from all material contamination. Jai Prabhupada. Okay, next verse as well.
Yes, Prabhu, you can read one more. Haribo.
Okay, just a moment. Mahim Partha व्यापरिष्ट्य ये स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्य तथा शूद्रस्तेऽपि यन्ति परां गतिम्. Mam, unto me, he certainly, Partha, O son of Pratha, Vyapastya, particularly making shelter, Ye, anyone, Api, also, Syuha becomes Papa Yonyah, born of the lower family, Striya, woman, Vaishya, mercantile people, Tatha also, Shudraha, lower classmen, Te api, even they, Yanti, go, Param, supreme, Gatim, destination. O son of Pratha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishya, as well as Shudra, can approach the supreme destination. Please call Prabhu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. It is clearly declared here by Supreme Lord that in devotional service there is no distinction between the lower or higher class of people. In the material conception of life, there are such divisions, but for a person engaged in transcendental devotion service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called Chandalas, can be elevated by association with a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher class of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking center of a pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the mode of goodness, Brahmanas, the mode of passion, Kshatriyas and or administrators, the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, Vaishya or merchants, and the mode of ignorance, Shudra or workers. Those lower than them are called Chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. Generally, those who are born in sinful families are not accepted by the higher class. But the process of devotional service and the pure devotee of the Supreme God are so strong that all the lower classes can attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes center of Krishna. One has to take center completely of Krishna. Then one can become much greater than great jnanis or yogis. Prabhu, which chapter is this?
The 9th chapter.
Both verses are so useful. I was searching for these verses actually.
Yes, Prabhu. This is
By
932.
your mercy, I received. I make a note of it here.
Yes, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Kim punarbrahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Kim, how much? Punaha, again, Brahmanas, punya, righteous, bhaktaha, devotees, rajarshayaha, saintly kings, tata, also, anityam, temporary, asukam, sorrowful, lokam, planets, imam, this, prapya, gaining, bhajasva, are engaged in loving service, mam, unto me. Translation. For how much greater than are the Brahmanas, the righteous, the devotees, and say the kings who in this temporary miserable world engage in loving service unto me. Purport. In this material world there are classifications of people, but after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, anityam asukam lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Person of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some of the philosophers, especially the minor philosophers, say that this world is false. But we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. There is a difference between temporary and false. The world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but the other world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to God, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world, full as it is with miseries. Anyone should attach himself to the bosom. Is this real world? Real word? Is it a yeah, I think bosom. What it means? Is it a I know a blossom, but chest.
Bosom. Bosom.
It's the bosom of the Supreme Person of Godhead, so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all the problems of all classes of man can be solved. Everyone should therefore take the Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyayi mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam mat parayana matmana. Always think of me, bhava, become, mat, my, bhakta, devotee, mat, my, yaji, worshipper, mam, unto me, namashkuru, offer obeisances, mam, unto me, eva, completely, eshyasi, come, yuktva, evam, being absorbed, atmanam, your soul, mat, parayana, devoted to me. Translation. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisances and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So thinking, offering obeisances, worshipping, being completely absorbed, and then you will come to me. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhasya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, 5th chapter, Adilila, verses 41-38. Deha dehi vibedo yam neshvare vidyate kvachit, which means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because they do not know this science of Krishna, the commentators hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or form from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love, that is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continually. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Otherwise, understanding Krishna from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the Supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna. And devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer into Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. In the 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita, pure devotional service to the Lord has been explained. Apart from the yoga of knowledge and mystic yoga or fruitive activities, those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma, but a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be the perfect saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. See this? Why he didn't take care of the 96 gurus in ISKCON? What happened to them? Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to this process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge.
Haribol. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
Oh, 6 Shastakam prayers. Tomorrow we start chapter 10, the opulence of the Absolute. Haribol. चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावादौ जीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिर्सत्तार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालाये तादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवं दृश्यं वैजनी अनुग्रह
Rinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि.
ऐनन्दनाथनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे बह्वा बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा सितधूली सदस्रं विचिन्तया सदस्रम्.
I don't remember the tune for well whatever. Najanam Kalada Shrutaraya Vadanam Katkala Rudaya Gira Pulakar Nichitam Vapukada Tavana Magrahane Pavishyati.
हरि बोल. युगा इदं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्ष इदं शून्य इदं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे.
अशिष्या वा पदारतं विनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् मरमहत्तं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनत्स तु स एव अपरः.
हरि बोल. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have granted hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. One should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling our separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Go. 3 की जा.
Reward. Jai.
The 10 offenses to the holy name. 1. to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
To consider, fifth, to consider the glories of the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord.
7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karmakanda.
To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10. To not have a complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments. Even after understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema.
Haribo.
Panchakalpascha
Namo Namaha.
की जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
जय।
महाप्रभु की जय
Haribo.
श्रीला प्रभुपाद
Jai.
की जय निताई गौर प्रेम
Jai.
की बोल
Haribo.